We have done a lot of COD history topics on this channel. We've done stuff that we've updated as we go through the years and we get new Call of Duties. But every once in a while, we get a brand new topic. Trickshotting has been a staple of Call of Duty ever since COD 4 was first introduced us to the aggressive sniper tactics in YouTube montages. But what maps throughout the franchise have been the best for this? Have been the best for trickshotting? Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today, we're going to take a trip through COD sniping history. And we're going to pick out what I think are the 10 best trickshotting maps in the entire franchise. Obviously, you can trickshot on any map, but anyone who's ever tried to trickshot will agree that certain maps are way better than others. So you let me know what your favorite trick-shotting map in COD history was. Drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Before we move on, guys, we're giving away a PS5 at 2.8 million subs. That's right. Somebody on this channel that watches these videos is going to win a PS5. It's simple to enter. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Comment your Twitter handle. That's important because if you win, I have to be able to get hold of you and follow me over on Twitter. The details are the top pinned comment on the video, and there's a bonus entry in those details as well. At number 10, Countdown in COD 4. Let's start with a super old school one. COD 4 is really where trickshotting first took off. That was because of the introduction of things like Steady Aim perk and the updated kill feed. Countdown may not have been the best map in COD 4 for standard multiplayer, but if you were going for crazy trick shots and sniper clips, it was one of the best in COD history. It was filled with missile silos that you could run up the sides of for patches of high ground, meaning you could attempt a jumping 360 no-scope basically anywhere on the map. And since about 90% of this map was outdoors, the enemy team was basically always susceptible to play like this. If you wanted to spice up the lobby, all you had to do was run over to the nearest missile silo, jump off the top of the door, and go for some nutty no-scope. I mean, it's a good way to start the list. There are some insane clips you can go see to this day. At number 9, Hijacked in Black Ops 2. Now, it's mostly a close-range map, and those usually are not the best for trick shots. But there was a couple spots here that were fan favorites. One side of the map didn't have a barrier, meaning there was nothing stopping you from diving off the map and into the ocean. Yes, you would instantly die when you hit the water. But before you made contact, you could do a bunch of spins and hit a crazy no-scope or throw a combat axe across the map to fall on the head of an unsuspecting player who just spawned in. I'm sure plenty of you saw players on Hijack throwing themselves into the ocean over and over again on the side of the map because they knew they would eventually hit the coolest trick shot of their entire life, and hopefully they were recording. So, how many of you actually tried it, and how many of you hit that shot? At number 8. Firing range in Black Ops 1. Generally speaking, the best trick-shotting maps are the ones with lots of verticality and open spaces. Well, firing range definitely had high ground and open spaces, so it wouldn't be surprising at all that it was a hit with trick-shotters. Not only was there a ton of second-story windows you could jump out of for those cool no-scope attempts, but there was also a lot of wide open spaces that meant unsuspecting enemies could be hit in the back of the head by a random trick-shotter. There was also the big sniper tower right in the middle of the map that was super hard to get up to in one piece, but if you managed to get there with a tac insert, it was basically a free ticket for unlimited trick shot attempts. Firing range is iconic in the COD community, and I know it's iconic for the trick shotters as well. At number 7, Cliffside and World at War. Now, trick shotting wasn't super popular back in the World at War days, but there was one map you could basically always go to and see somebody going for crazy clips, and it was Cliffside. Pretty large map, all things considered, but if you spend a lot of time on it, you probably know about the bounce spot near the edge of the cliff. For some reason, there was a certain part of the map that would bounce you up into the air as if you had jumped on a trampoline if you hit it at the right angle. If you knew about the bounce spot on Cliffside, you probably always spawned in there with an iron sight sniper rifle and went there right away every time you spawned in so you could jump on it, get bounced in the air, hit a cross-map no-scope for YouTube or Facebook or whatever it was. This may be a little bit of a niche pick, but if you knew about the Cliffside bounce spot, you're probably getting flooded with nostalgia right now. Don't lie, you are. At number 6, Fringe in Black Ops 3. Now, Fringe is probably one of the most recognizable maps from Black Ops 3, but I would never say it was the best. Wasn't bad by any means, but it wasn't a fan favorite. But there was a couple aspects that made it amazing for trick shotting, and I bet a ton of you remember seeing snipers go for some insane shots here. First of all, there was a long open street in the middle of the map. You could wall run up to it and then fly across the intersection for this crazy sniper shot or combat axe throw. But the main thing that gets Fringe on the list today was the 2 cylindrical set pieces in one of the spawn points. If you know, you know, that you could run up the side of, boost jump off the top for a bird's eye view of the entire map where you could go for your crazy shot. But if that side of the map wasn't really your style, there was also a big bridge in the other spawn point where you could do basically the same thing. Wall run up the side, jump off for the top for a bird's eye view of the map. The wall running and boost jumping in Black Ops 3 unlocked lots of potential trick shots, and Fringe was probably the best map in the game for it. Cracking into the top 5. Turbine in Black Ops 2. It's widely seen as a mid-tier map in Black Ops 2, but if you were going for trick shots, it was probably up there. Going along the middle of the map was a long patch of high ground with the hollowed out plains, and on one side of that map there was a super tall bridge that you could die if you fell off of, but it was also great for hitting trick shots while falling to your death for extra style points. It's kind of funny to me how a lot of good trick shotting maps in COD history were maps that most of the player base didn't actually like that much for standard play, because let's be honest, Turbine was not anyone's favorite in Black Ops 2. In fact, I kind of remember most of the community disliking it for standard 6v6 multiplayer, but if you were trick shotting, you probably spent a lot of time running along the middle plane or jumping off the bridge. And you know what? Okay, I think it's worth it. At number 4, Standoff in Black Ops 2. It was one of the best maps in Black Ops 2 specifically for snipers, but all the things that made it great for sniping also made it great for trick shotting. The windows, the high ground spots, the wide open streets that meant you could pop somebody from basically anywhere, the alleyways that were great for cheesing up lineups. Standoff was one of the best Treyarch maps of all time. I remember a lot of awesome shots getting hit here. If you could jump off the second story of one of the buildings, you could pop 2 or 3 people at once if they were all crowding one of the windows. Yeah, it's set up nice. It's a fan favorite for a million different reasons. And I'm sure if you were trick shotting back in Black Ops 2, you probably hit a ton of clips here. It was easy to predict where people would be, which made it more reliable for going for those clips. At number 3 today, Terminal in Modern Warfare 2 2009. Now, Terminal is an iconic map in FPS history, and it's for good reason. It's one of the best designed maps in any PvP shooter ever, and whether you were playing the objective, going for clips, you loved it. Had plenty of great spots to go for wicked jump shots and cross-map snipes, as well as an exploit where you could get on top of the airplane outside and get that extra cheese. There was also a big patch of high ground in the middle of the map. It was a nightmare to reach the top of, but super rewarding if you made it up in one piece, because you could drop attack insert, go for trick shot after trick shot. I mean, Terminal is a piece of COD history and FPS history, and a big part of that is thanks to all the people hitting the next crazy trick shot and getting featured on a YouTube community channel. Who remembers those? At number 2, Carrier in Black Ops 2. Interesting map, because your enjoyment of it seemed to entirely depend on what kind of player you were. If you were a normal Call of Duty player, you thought it was average. If you were a sniper, you thought it was the best. If you were a trick shotter, this was probably your favorite map in the entire game. Carrier was a medium-sized map, ton of verticality. It had these weird set pieces you could use for jump shots and cross-map vantage points, but the main thing that made Carrier awesome for trick shotting was the water. There were so many spots on the map where you could hit an insane shot before diving into the ocean, which just made the clip even better. So not only could you jump off the top of the fighter jet, pop somebody ahead, but you could also hit the cross-map combat axe from basically anywhere. I mean, most of the map was outdoors. You could dive into the ocean after sending someone back to the lobby. It was a trick shotter's dream. And at number 1 today, the best trick shotting map in COD history has to be High Rise in Modern Warfare 2 2009. Chances are when I say the phrase trick shot, you immediately think of all those crazy clips from High Rise. Perhaps the most famous trick shot of all time is a legendary Mom Get the Camera clip, which was on, guess what? High Rise. Because all the crazy high ground spots and the windows for you to parkour around, it was the perfect setting and set up for some of the most ridiculous shots imaginable. Intervention, throwing knife, it didn't matter. I don't think Infinity Ward had any idea they were making a part of gaming history when they designed this map, but there's no denying it's one of the most iconic locations in FPS gaming history, and a huge part of that was because of all the insane clips people would get while jumping off the map and diving off the roof. High Rise is by far the best trick shotting map in COD history. While the rest of this map may have been a tad controversial, I think everybody's going to agree with this pick. The COD community may have a lot of different opinions on this, but I think if there's one we're all going to agree on today, right now, it's that High Rise trick shots were pretty epic. And there you have it, my friends. Let me know one map that didn't make it, and I'll see you soon.